Hey friends, it's Kenya, reaching out today on a short video focused on our feet. I've been thinking a lot about my feet lately and about just feet in general and all that they do for our bodies. And I thought today we'd spend a few minutes on our feet and give you some things to consider as it relates to your own feet. So if you don't feel like standing, let's just start off sitting and work our feet before we have the option to move up to standing. So let me turn this around. All right. So I'm on my yoga mat. If you notice any dog hair, my dog likes to do yoga on my mat as well. So first I'd like you to reach down and place your fingers between your toes and give a little massage here to your toes. And then offer your feet some massage, focusing on the balls of the feet under here with your fingers, moving back under the arches, and then really focus on kind of the first part, or what I call the upper part of your heel. And give your feet some, I like to squeeze my feet, like squunch them together and then move them apart with my fingers. So that's something we can do if for some reason we have a day where we're not able to stand, but we want to work our feet a little bit. It's also, you can turn your feet to face each other. Turn your feet away from each other as they kind of smile towards each other. Notice as your feet move what that does to your knees and your hips. And so this is just if we're sitting or if we can't really stand for whatever reason, some things we can do with our feet to help bring some action and awareness to our feet. But for those of you who are ready to stand or able to stand, and I just realized I really need to clean my yoga mat, but offer me a little grace for that. Let's go to standing and see what we can do to work with our feet. So I'm standing up on my yoga mat. These are my feet. I've got a slight bend in my knees. Knees are hip distance apart. And if you're up to it, let's notice anything we feel when we just raise our toes. Notice any sensations where your feet may feel a little bit more grounded in the mat. Notice what happens if we reach our fourth and fifth toes forward, pinky toes forward. Bending our knees. My knees like to lock back. And notice where your weight is. Maybe we redistribute that weight a little evenly over our arches. Between the base of the big toe, the fourth and fifth toes reach forward. Toes float down. Bend in the knee. And we imagine kind of an anchor dropping down from the middle of our arches as our weights equally distributed between the front and the back of our feet. So that gives us a stable, for most of us, a stable standing position. You can also play with grounding down like we just did, and then what if you grip the mat like you're squunching your toes? You see my toes are turning colors. Squunching the toes, and see what that does, or see if you notice any sensations in your arches. Release that. And just for some playtime, let's rock up to our toes and rock back. It's hard to do when you're holding a camera, but we rock up and we rock back. I like to then spread my toes really, really wide. See what kind of that does for my feet. My toes. And then I like to, I don't squunch my toes a lot, and it actually feels For me, I kind of like that feeling, squunching my toes. Maybe I turn my feet over a little bit so you can see like this. And just notice, play with, just bring some attention to your feet. Like what are your feet, what's your feet calling for today that can kind of bring a little focus, attention, maybe some engagement, relaxation. Next, I'm going to give you some other options. What I like to do this in the morning or when I'm sitting at my desk. I like to put my big toes down and lift my other 4 toes, and I tend to, the weight tends to go to my inner arches of my feet. And then I put my 4 toes down and lift my big toes, and this is a little bit more challenging for me. And I tend to see where you notice your weight distribution is. Maybe you notice there's a shift. I have one foot that likes to cooperate better than the other. And that's one thing too you may notice. There may be some asymmetry in your feet. I definitely have some asymmetry on my left toes. I've been working them a little bit more than my right toes seem to be a little bit more active. And finally, I'm going to give you an option of just playing with shifting your weight to the balls of your feet, kind of rotating around the top of the balls, around the edges of your feet, the back heel, rotate toward the inner. I definitely notice it's a lot easier for me to go outer edges than inner, but notice what you notice in your body, and just notice you're giving some love to your feet right now. Maybe spend a little time after this just appreciating all that your feet do for you during the day, whether you're sitting all day or you're standing all day or even when you're lying down. So let's come back to that toes lifted, base of toes down, toes stretched forward. Bend my knees, always have to. Mine want to lock. Feel that kind of anchor drop down from the middle of the arches. Engage the arches. Feel that. Maybe you feel it. Maybe you don't today. Either way, it's okay. I like to imagine kind of my gluteal muscles toning down and all that energy coming down into an anchor that really anchors from the top of my heel and in the middle of my arches. So that's a little bit of our feet today. We're at 8 minutes. Glad you could join me. Let me know, drop me a note. Let me know what you think about your feet and this little short practice. Like I said, sometimes I do it in the morning, sometimes I do it in the afternoon, sometimes I do it at night. Just every once in a while, check in with your feet, and maybe you just ask your feet, like, what do you want today? What'll make you more balanced? What'll bring you a little bit more relief today? And that's about it. Thanks for joining me, friends. This is all about our feet, showing a little love to our feet today. Catch you next time. And again, drop me a note if you got any questions.